It was kind of like, if I come, it's do or die situation for me.
Right.
That's the mentality that was coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Sam.
I'm Yava.
And together we are Ghana Bound. And today we have Russ and Clara, who have recently come over to Ghana, and they're going to share a few of their experiences with us today.
It hasn't been a walk in the park, but I'm definitely staying because I came with a mission and I'm going to see it through.
Okay, we're going to get on to that.
Yeah.
Good. And you've been here for?
Since late October.
And yourself?
May 2021.
What led you back to Ghana?
Okay, so growing up, coming back to Ghana was something that old people do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was my mentality. So I used to come to Ghana to visit. I joined the Navy when I was 18, so I started making money right away, and I was coming like almost every other year. And I started investing in people. So my first venture was I invested in a pineapple farm. The farmer needed money. And so we rented a land. It was 2 acres, and that's how we started.
Okay.
And he was giving the pineapple out to this factory, and the factory makes like what we're drinking right now, like bottled, right? So I felt like it was a great business when I looked at it, and I invested in him. So that was my first venture, but I was not in Ghana. And then I bought a car for somebody to do Uber with, and they were really happy. They were making money. They were feeding their family. So that's where the desire started to build up. And I'm into fitness like you guys. So I wanted to build gyms. So I'm from Accra area.
Okay.
And whenever I go to visit, it's like there is no good gyms around. So I have to, work out the real getaway of concrete and stuff. The gyms around wasn't good, so that was the first opportunity that I spotted that was huge. It's a huge project. And I was in school at the time when this idea started to come to me. So I was in the Navy for 4 years. Then I went to do my bachelor's in accounting, and it took me 3 years to finish that. So it was my last year, around 2018. That's when this idea came to me. And my thinking was I was gonna set up the gym, and then my siblings would take care of it or something like that. that was the idea. Moving here was not it. And all these YouTubers that we see now, it wasn't part of my awareness, so I didn't see any of that. It's along the way I realized that for me to do this, I have to move down here. A friend of mine told me, especially if I'm trying to raise money, because it's going to cost a lot to build up from the ground, and nobody's gonna give me money to trust somebody else because they trust me, so I have to come down. So that's when I started thinking whoa. And back in 2016, I had purchased a plot of land around where we live at now.
So this is separate to the pineapple farm?
This is separate.
Okay.
This is separate. So I had purchased a plot of land just for the sake of it, because my father's friend, he used to take us to American Embassy before we got our visas to leave when I was young. So whenever I come back to Ghana, I go and visit him. And he just advised me to get something because this is where I'm from. Right. And I listened. So I bought it in 2016. Nice. And I had no plans of coming to Ghana to live here. So initially, I'm I might build an apartment building or something like that, But when this idea came to me, I said, okay, I know Ghana could be tough for what we all know. To get hired by somebody and get paid well is really tough. So if I can set up some sort of residual income back there, and I built my house out of pocket, I really have nothing to lose, because here your property tax is not much. And so, I spoke to my wife about it, and it was kind of whoa, this is really coming out of nowhere. But she was very supportive, and we started towards that. So I have a friend down here who's now my business partner as well. He's an architect. And I reached back out to him because he was in America for high school, and he moved back here. So I reached back out to him because, we have trust issues in Ghana, so he's somebody that I know. Sure. So I reached back out to him, and everything went smoothly. He told me how much it's going to cost for the drawings and the permit and all that stuff. Okay. So I did that first.
And this is for a home or a gym?
This is for the home. Okay. So I decided to build the home out of pocket.
Right.
before we come here, because I didn't want a situation where we come here and like we have to go back. It was kind of like, if I come, it's do or die situation for me.
Right.
That's the mentality that was
Okay.
coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Clara, at this point, how did you feel about that? Because I know you're very motivated. So he says to you, okay, Ghana, we're even going to build a house, businesses. How did you feel about that?
I definitely had to warm up to the idea, you know. It did come out of nowhere because he had told me that he bought the land. He wasn't sure what he wanted to do with it. He was talking about building an apartment building, just having like small businesses in Ghana, but like to actually live there, that was just random. So I was just like, oh, okay. All right, so we're doing this. So he had actually moved before me. And before I moved here in October, I visited a few times, but before that, like, what was it, last year? Last year and the year before that was my first time like visiting as an adult, because I was born and raised in New York, so I came here when I was 2, lived here for about 2 years, did not remember anything at all.
Okay.
So it was just like a really strange idea. I'm like, well, that's a whole different continent, a whole different country. Like yes, I'm Ghanaian, but I don't know anything about like living in Ghana, so I'm willing to give it a try.
Both Ghanaian.
Yes.
Ghanaian born. Or-
Ghanaian born, raised in America.
Okay.
And I was born and raised in the Bronx.
Okay.
And I left here when I was 14.
Right. So you had a childhood in Ghana,
I did.
and you had a childhood in the Bronx.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
very different.
Was it on your radar a move back to Ghana, or was it always holidays, or what was your plans?
It was not part of our thinking at all. I mean, visiting Ghana together was not even. Is it something that we cared about?
I don't think we even talked about visiting Ghana together. But we did know that we did not want to raise a family in New York. Like
Yes.
we did not want to stay in New York. We did not want that fast life, busy, stressed all the time, small apartments, no space for the kids to run around. Like we know for a fact that we did not want that.
Yes, and
we were
also-
actually talking about Florida.
Yeah, and also because I was in the military, when you come out as part of the benefits, when you buy a house in America, usually you need 20% down. If you are trying to avoid all the extra fees, you have to put 20% down.
Okay.
However, if you serve in the Navy, it's zero for you, and you don't pay any of the benefits. So you just take on a mortgage, not just the Navy, but the military.
The services. Yeah.
So to buy a house in New York, it's like a $500,000 house would look like trash. So that's the main reason why we knew this is not it, because we have to buy a house at some point, and New York is not it. Plus, all the shootings and all this craziness that was going on, it's not a great place to raise your kids. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So from that point on, you were both in agreement, okay, we're going to give Ghana a go to live.
Yes.
Those two businesses, your start-off businesses, are they still running? Your pineapple farm and your Uber?
Yes. So this is the situation. The pineapple, the first harvest was successful, but we were renting the land. So I decided while I was building, I decided to buy 15 acres of land. And we identified the land. We did a search on the land. It was a virgin land, so it has never been registered before. And the farmer knows the family very well. So I said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and, put together some payment plan and then try to register as we go along. So in the process, we came to find out that an extended family member went behind their back and sold the same land, more than my land, to another company. And I was buying this to a company. So it's still in court. I'm not the one in court. It's a family issue, so I stopped the payment and I'm now waiting.
Right.
So because of that, we put a halt to the pineapple farm.
Right.
Yes. The
Okay.
Uber, however, the Uber driver is also my driver, and it was going on well. He was making all the payment. As a form of charity, I just told him to stop paying and give him the car.
I gave him the car.
Yeah.
Wow. It's generous.
Nice. So both instances, you were investing in people.
Yes.
Has that been something that's carried on?
Yes, I actually we live with a guy right now. I love helping people, and I actually help a guy set up his laundromat. He does dry cleaning and all this stuff, and he lives with us now. So I rented a shop for my father has a pure water company, so like Sachet, and I wanted to help him expand to that area, but the transportation, they started increasing diesel and all that
Yes.
stuff. it just did not make sense. So I gave the shop to him, already paid for 2 years, and he's happy feeding his family. So it's something that I want to keep doing.
Right.
And I also purchased the land by the roadside so it was a car wash. So I purchased the car wash plus the land with a title on it, and renovated the car wash. But the bigger plan is my gym project. The bigger plan, I already have the plan. I got the permits, is to build a minimal, including a gym, restaurants, and a whole bunch of stuff. So we decided to, because of Ghana land issue, instead of moving slow, renovate the car wash, let it operate, and we're gonna build around it. Because in the plan, it's kind of like an L shape, and the car wash is like on the other side. And while we were, renovating the car wash, somebody showed up and started causing issues. I have a title to this land, mind you, because the people who sold the land to me, they had a title already. After my farmland issue, there was no way I was gonna buy land without a title.
Right.
So they had it, and I was, we did a search. I transferred, no problem. Somebody showed up, tried to cause issue with some judgment. We did a composite plan. His land is outside. He tried to use the local police to intimidate me. I used the headquarters. He backed off. And and we did everything. We were supposed to start work. We finished on a Friday. We were supposed to start work on a Monday, and I got served. He took me to the court. So currently I'm done with everything, but there's an injunction on the land. Unfortunately, I can't get too into details because of containment issue. But so that project is on hold. It's been a challenge because that was a lot of money.
Okay. So you bought land twice.
I've bought land 6 times actually.
And these are the only two with issues?
Yes.
Okay, so two out of the 6 have had issues.
Yes.
But the second one seems like you did all the checks.
The second one, there is nothing you can do to avoid it. What I learned from this though is never pay everything, because I ended up I paid in twice. I paid in 2 installments.
Yeah.
But I did not touch the land before they moved.
Right.
And that was a big mistake on my part. That's why I learned it would never happen again, because I thought with the title was like, but I learned that you have to touch the land to see what's gonna come up.
And when you say touch the land, what do you mean?
Either you want to build a wall around it, you want to do something. You just do something that shows that somebody is doing something on the land, like something physical.
We get asked this question a lot when people buy land, and this is great to hear from someone else other than us who's going through it. That when I buy my land, am I in a rush to do something on it? What's your advice?
You must have, in order to buy land in Ghana, you must have at least your wall money, even 5 cores, because you have to do something. Just having the paperwork is not conclusive. And it's never gonna happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And when we say touch the land, we literally mean turn up with a pitchfork, dig a hole, and see who comes and start saying, "Hey, that's my grandfather's land."
This is a golden nugget of advice right there.
Absolutely.
What have been some of the pleasant surprises and maybe let's call them challenges that you might want to share with us? Can I put this one to you first, please?
So one of my biggest challenge was getting my wigs shipped over here.
This is for your business. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got you.
I have a vendor that I've been using for years, but I had them shipping to the US. So now I had to get them to ship to Ghana. I told the vendor that I prefer DHL because according to the research that I did, DHL is better here as opposed to doing UPS. So I told her to use DHL. She used UPS without my knowledge. Mind you, I had asked her 3 times, you're shipping through DHL, right? I prefer DHL, I need DHL. I didn't have my Ghana number yet, so I used his number, so they gave him a call.
Yeah.
And was like that, they received the package and we need to come pick it up. So right then and there, his energy shifted.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah, he was like, oh no. And I was like, oh no too, because according to my research, if you get a package stuck at customs, I think that has to be the worst experience that we've encountered in Ghana. Yeah.
Even worse than my farmland, honestly. It was the worst.
It was really bad.
Okay, what happened?
They gave him a call, told him to come pick up the package. So we were like, all right, let's go see what this is about. So we got to customs. As soon as we got there, while we're getting out the car, 3 random people came claiming that they're agents and they're trying to direct us and help us, and we're like, okay, this is very overwhelming. We're just here to pick up a package. We don't need an entourage following us. Then I had to pay, I think it was 70 cities to pick up the package. So I'm like, oh, 70 cities, not that bad, right? So paid the 70 cities, went to pick up the package, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, now you got to take it to the custom officers. I'm like, oh.
Okay.
So this is where the
real stuff comes in.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, man, okay. So they're going through the box, they're looking at the wigs, asking me questions like, oh, is it 100% human hair? How much did you pay? And I'm like, this is my first time, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, why are you asking me all these questions? And the lady, she goes, oh, are you a Ghanaian? I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, and you don't know customs? Like, just...
unnecessary.
Yeah, very unnecessary.
And while this is happening, some guy came to me, touching me. He was touching me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, some guy was touching me. And mind you, I don't remember the last time I fought somebody.
You are ready
like this.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I fought somebody. Like, I don't even remember. Like, maybe I was probably a kid in Ghana or something. Like, that's not me. And the way I was, like, furious, and this guy is tapping me like, let's talk. I said, yo, just what do you want? And this guy just got upset. He tried to fight me.
Hey.
I had to stand in between them.
He tried to fight me now.
Mind you, the officers are sitting down, security is sitting down, everybody's just watching.
You an agent and you trying to fight me now. You're waiting for this guy to bring. So I just calmed down. This guy finally brought out the invoice, how much we're supposed to pay, and it was like almost 2,000 Ghana cedis to get a package.
To pick your package.
Yeah, to pick the package.
It was
like 1,800 and something,
yeah.
almost 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And he was like, so the banks are closed now, so you can momo me the money.
I knew you were gonna say something like.
You can momo me. I said, brother.
I was like,
that's not an option.
Stupid written on our forehead.
That's not an option. He said, you can momo me the money, or you can come back another day to pick it. I said, I will come back on Monday. We will come back on Monday and pick it up. It's okay. I mean, this makes no sense. I don't know how he got that. I'm looking on, I'm reading. There's nothing on it that's like you can pin out like, okay, this is in the box. He just made up the number, and I said, you're not getting our money. So we left that place around 8, and we went there in the afternoon. It was crazy. So we ended up paying to the bank. I went with my driver, the same guy, because if I knew it was gonna be this bad, I was probably gonna bring him, and we're not gonna get involved.
Yeah.
And then he took care of everything, and then we ended up, he paid all of that. We took our package, and that was the worst.
As much as it shouldn't be the case, it's always useful having that connection there who, if possible, they can just do certain things for you where you're not going to get, what's it called, ripped off or bumped.
Definitely what I love too is like your return on capital for business. I mean, it's not easy to get it off the ground, but once you do, it's like, before I get into anything, I do a lot of, financials behind scenes, and it's like the returns you get here is kind of like, you're not going to get that in the West. So, as hard as it is, once, you come up, and I know business owners, I'm not the only one going through this. It's very normal. A friend of mine, he's now a friend of mine, he opened a new restaurant around my area, and he was telling me, hey, I told him about online issues. He went through the same thing for 2 years. There's way too many opportunities here for me to just get up and go, no matter how hard the challenge is. And I do want to help a lot of people. The unemployment rate here is quite high, and in the Western world, it's like most of these companies, they are not government owned. So it's like we need more people to set up businesses to employ the locals, and to get capital out here is extremely hard from the banks, and the interest rate just doesn't make sense. Which is why I personally feel like I have an obligation, like a moral obligation, to do something down here if you have access to capital, to do something here to help. If I help like 10, 15 people in my lifetime, I will be happy. I feel like Ghana has to do something about the land situation. If somebody comes and bother you, and we go to court and we find out that you actually have no legitimate claim over the land, you should serve some time in jail. This whole thing will stop.
Yes.
This is the place to build wealth. That's how I see it. Like, if you can buy land, build a house, like the appreciation on these properties is extremely high. Whereas in the West, it's like already developed, so nobody's building anything fancy next to you. It's already there, and it's not easy to have the luxury of picking out your home how you want it to be, and just building everything out. It's like, it's not something we see. I know people do in the States, but on the average, you buy it already completed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's level is a lot lower, isn't it?
That's the beauty. So the infrastructure is not in place, but then there lies the opportunity, right, for you to jump in and do something. Like, I think like in the States or in the West, you really have to be very smart, be willing to outwork everybody to make it, because everybody have access to capital because of the loan system.
Yeah.
So you have to be Elon Musk kind of guy.
We get asked a lot of questions, but people ask, what job can I do? What job, how can I work here? And there's so many opportunities here to actually be a business owner.
Yes. Why would you want to come and work when you're making pounds or dollars, and with just $10,000 you can really start something here, literally. With $10,000 you can start something here. So find something you enjoy. Don't try to come and become an employee here, because the people here, we have some very smart people here who've been sitting at home for 7 years looking for what you're looking for, and you have access to capital back home. So it's not $5,000. I know people set up businesses with $5,000 and really flourishing down here. So you should be coming here with a mindset of trying to start something and hiring some of the locals and making change here, because the pay you're gonna get, you're not even gonna be happy with it. Like
strong advice.
Yeah, make a change, and people are really making it down here.
You should start like a motivational channel, because this is really encouraging.
I do have one.
There we go.
I just started about 3 weeks ago.
Really? We're going to put the details of his motivational channel in the description box below. Sorry, and to her business and all the other businesses they have in the description box.
Thank you.
So again, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe. We'll put their details in the description box. I'm sure you'll want to connect with them also. And you can do so in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the family, and see you in the next one. Bye.